Good morning, Year 6. I hope you've had a great start to the week. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of June 2020, and today we're going to be looking at solving two-step missing number equations. And again, we're going to be using inverse operations and our balancing scales to help us. So I'd like you to write down today's numerical date, the date in Roman numerals, and our learning intention. And then we'll get started. So hopefully you've written down the date in Roman numerals correctly, as shown on screen. Should be quite simple for you now. So well done if you managed to get that. For today's lesson, you will need a pencil, paper, 5-minute timer, and you'll need your thinking hats on. Check. So for our starter today, we've got quite an easy starter. I'd like you to choose your level of difficulty, pink being the easiest and green being the hardest. And then, or you might want to have a go at doing all of them, to be honest, starting from pink and going all the way through to green. Start from pink, see if you can get as many as you can done within the 5 minutes. That's probably the best way to do it. So remember to set your 5-minute timer and to pause your video and then answer the questions on screen. Fantastic. Now let's go through the answers. So 39 plus 673, 712. 9 elevenths minus 4 elevenths is 5 elevenths. 2 times 45 is 90. 838 divided by 1 is 838. For the second row, 20% of 1,200. Well, the best way is to find out 10% and then double it. So 10% is 120, so 20% is 240. 645 divided by 43, you would have used the bus stop method, the long division method to help you there. 0.5 times 28, well that's the same as doing half of 28. So 0.5 times 28 equals 14. 1/2 plus 1/5 is this. We have to make sure the denominator is the same. We know that 2 times 5 equals 10, so now we have the same denominator. To get from 2 as our denominator to 10 as our denominator, we need to multiply by 5. So whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So therefore we end up with 5/10 plus, to get from 1/5 to tenths, we need to multiply by 2, so that becomes 2/10. 5/10 plus 2/10 equals 7/10. 28% of 650, work out 10%, then work out 1%, and then use that to help you. So once you worked out 10%, you can use that to help you find 20%, and once you've worked out 1%, you can use that to help you find 8%. Then put your answers together, and your answer should be 182. 1/2 plus times 40, so 1 times 40 is 40, and then 1/2 times 40 would be 20. Put the answer together and you get 60. 5,413 multiplied by 86, so that would have been the formal written method for multiplication, which is 465,518, and 3.9 times 30. So you could have done that mentally as well. You could have done 3.9 times 10, and then you would have got 39, and then multiply that by 3 to get 117. Well done if you managed to get those. Now, why am I showing you a picture of balancing scales? You probably haven't seen this since you were in Key Stage 1, or maybe early Key Stage 2. Balancing scales are really important, and they've been helping us with our algebra because we know that with a balancing scales, in order for them to be balanced and for them to be equal, we have to have the same weight on both sides. So whatever is on one side must be the same value on the other side in order for it to be balanced. Otherwise, one side will be higher and the other side will be lower. It's quite similar to the equations that we've been looking at. Both sides must be equal. So if you have a look at this calculation shown on screen, 4 times 3 equals 12. So if we've got 4 groups of 3 on one side, then we must have 12 on the other side in order for it to be equal. And that's what we're going to be looking at in even more detail today. So now we're going to have a go at solving some two-step equations. So here is a two-step equation. In the expression shown on screen, 2x plus 4 there are two operations. We have to multiply by 2 and we also have to add 4. We look at the operation separate to the letter first, which in this case is adding 4. The inverse operation is to subtract 4. So instead of adding 4, if we were doing the inverse, we subtract 4. We do this first to both sides of our equation when we're using a balancing method. So whatever we do to one side of our balancing scales, we must do to the other. And you'll remember us talking about this yesterday. So if we're going to subtract 4, we do it to both sides. There's our 4 disappeared. So now we've taken away 4 from both sides, we see what we have left. We can see that we have 6 left on one side, and that 6 is equal to 2x on the other. So we need to do 2x is equal to 6. So 2 times x equals 6. We can do the inverse. 6 divided by 2 gives us x. So if we divide one side by 2, so if you look at the side on the balancing scale with 6 circles, divide that into 2 and you have 3 left. Then if you divide the 2 blocks into 2, you have 1 left. So you know that the x is equal to 3. Using that same method, we're going to have a go at solving this equation. 6x plus 2 equals 26. So remember, whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. If we're going to start with 26, instead of adding 2, we subtract 2 from both sides. So have a look at the picture of the balancing scale on the right hand side of the screen. You'll see we've got 6x because we've got 6 groups of x, and we've added 2, and that is equal to 26. And now we're going to take away 2 from both sides, and that is what we have left. 26 take away 2 is 24. And then our 6x is still there, but the 2 that was there has now been taken away. So now those two are balanced. But we need to go a bit further. We've still got 6 times x, and we're still trying to find out what x is. If we divide our 6x by 6, we do the inverse of our multiplication and do the division, 6x divided by 6 would give us 1x, and that's what we want to find the value of. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So now we know that 1x is equal to 4. Now it's over to you. I want you to look at the questions shown on screen. 4y minus 5 equals 15. 21 is equal to 5t minus 4. And using that same balancing method and the inverse, I want you to find the value of the variables. So find the value of y and find the value of t. Pause the video whilst you do that. Excellent. Now let's go through the answers. Y has a value of 5, and we know that because we know that 4y minus 5 is equal to 15. So we're going to do the inverse to help us. Instead of minusing 15, we're going to add 15 to both sides. So now we have 4y is equal to 20. Then, in order to do that, to go even further, to find the value of y, we have to do 20 divided by 4, which gives us 5. So we know that the value of y is 5. And we can check it by doing 4 times 5 is 20, 20 minus 5, and yep, we get 15. Now for the last one. The answer is 5. So we do 21, which we know is equal to 5t minus 4. We leave the number and letter for now, and we just focus on the number on its own. Instead of minusing 4, we're going to add 4. 21 add 4 gives us 25. So now we know that 25 is equal to 5t. Then we need to divide by 5. So 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. So t has a value of 5. And we can test it by doing 5 times 5, which is 25, and then minusing 4, which gives us 21, and voila, we have our answer. So well done if you managed to get that. Now it's over to you. Find the value of x in each of the equations shown on screen. Remember to pause the video here whilst you work out the value of x and use the balancing method to help you. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. Fantastic. We'll go through the answers really quickly. So for number 1, x equals 9. For number 2, x equals 3. For number 3, x equals 3. For number 4, x equals 8. For number 5, x equals 4. And I'll go through the last 5 even quicker by just putting them all up. So for number 6, x is 3. 7, x is 8. For number 8, x is 1. For number 9, x is 11. And for number 10, x equals 9. So well done if you managed to get those. If you didn't, maybe go over them again and see where you went wrong in your calculations. Now, here are 2 girls and here are their calculations that they have done to try and solve their two-step equations. Have a look and see what mistake they have made. So put your teacher hat on and see if you can identify the mistakes that they have made. Pause the video whilst you do that. Excellent. Let's go through the answers. So here are our answers. For question A, this should have been 14 plus 1 equals 15, which she did do correctly. She added 1 to both sides. So instead of minusing 1, we've done the inverse and added 1. But then she has subtracted 5. Whereas we know that 5x is the same as 5 times x, and the inverse of times is division. So she should have done 15 divided by 5, which equals 3. So x equals 3. She subtracted when she should have divided. Well done if you managed to get that. Now for question B. Now, in this question, we should have done 18 minus 5. The inverse of addition is subtraction. We leave the 3x alone for now. We focus on the plus 5 and we do the inverse. So 18 minus 5. If we minus 5 from both sides, then we end up with 13 on its own on one side of our balancing scales. So then we do 13 and we divide our 13 by 3. So 13 divided by 3. Now that's a tricky one because 13 is a prime number. But if we do 12 divided by 3, because we know that 12 plus 1 makes 13. 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. And then we divide our 1 by 3, which gives us 0.3 recurring. So we end up with 4.3 recurring. Now for some problem solving. Here is the quadrilateral ABCD. The perimeter of the quadrilateral is 80 centimeters. AB is the same length as BC. So where it says AB, you're looking at the line between the letters A and B. Okay, it's referring to that length. AB is the same length as BC. So now look at the line between BC. What do we know is the length of BC? Well, the length of BC is 21 centimeters. So if AB is also 21 centimeters, we know that 4y plus 1 equals 21. Now, using the method that we've been looking at, I want you to work out the value of y. Once you've worked out the value of y there, you can use that to help you find the value of y in AD. Pause the video whilst you work out your answer. Fantastic. Now let's go through it. So we know that 4y plus 1 equals 21. We need to do our balancing method, so we're going to subtract that 1 from both sides. So 21 minus 1 is 20, and then 4y is equal to 20. Then we do the inverse, so 20 divided by 4, which gives us 5. So we know y has a value of 5. Now we know y has a value of 5, we can use that to help us with finding the value of AD. So AD, 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 plus 1 equals 26. But that's not what the questions asked us, is it? The questions asked us to find the length of CD. But how will we do that? Well, we now know that the length AB is 21 centimeters. We know that BC is 21 centimeters, and we know that AD is 26 centimeters. But you'll also remember at the beginning, the original question stated that the perimeter of the quadrilateral was 80 centimeters. So we just need to take away the values that we know from 80, and whatever we have left will be the length that we have left. So 80 minus 21 again minus 26 equals 12 centimeters. So CD has a value of 12 centimeters. Well done if you managed to get that one. I know that might sound a bit wordy, but maybe just mute me if you need to, pause the video and have a look at it and just try and work it out slowly in your own head. So now we're going to have a go at doing another problem solving question, similar to the one that we just did, but there isn't a picture shown to help you. And in this case, once you find the value of x, you're going to use that to help you find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so although we're given the information about the perimeter, the objective here is to find the area of the rectangle. So it might help you to draw the rectangle and the measurements that you know to help you find the value of x. And remember, once you've found the value of x, you'll then need to use that to help you find the lengths and then find the area using that information. We know it's a rectangle, so think about how we find the area of a rectangle, thinking back to our original lessons in algebra before the half term. So pause the video here whilst you work out your answer. Fantastic. Now let's go through it together. So you'll see here I've drawn the rectangle to help us to visualize the problem a bit better. Now we know that the length of a rectangle is 2x plus 3, and you'll see that I've written those in. The width of the same rectangle is x minus 2, and I've written that in as well. And we're told that the perimeter is 17 centimeters. So we need to find the value of x, and the way to do that is that we'll need to group together all of the x's. So we're going to add together 2x, and then we add that to the other 2x, and then we add that to the other x and the other x, which we know is really 1x and 1x. So 2x plus 2x plus 1x plus 1x gives us 6x. Okay, then we do the same with the numbers that are not joined to a letter. So we've got 3 plus 3 minus 2 minus 2. So 3 plus 3 gives us 6, and if we minus 2, we have 4, and minus 2 again, we have 2. So now we've simplified our equation. We've simplified it to 6x plus 2, and we know that that equals, altogether, when added together, that equals 17 centimeters. So now we've simplified it, we can use the method that we have been doing throughout this lesson to help us. We'll do 17 minus 2. So instead of adding 2, we do minus 2. 17 minus 2, which is 15. So now we know 6x is equal to 15. And then we need to do some division to help us find the value of x. So 15 divided by 6. And you could have used the bus stop method here to help you. So 15 divided by 6, well, we know how many times does 6 go into 15? We know, well, how many times does 6 go into 1? It's 0. How many times does 6 go into 15? It goes in twice with a remainder of 3. We carry that 3 over and put a 0. And how many times does 6 go into 35? So our answer is 2.5. So x has a value of 2.5. Now we know x has a value of 2.5, we can now fill in these expressions that are shown in our rectangle. So where it says 2x plus 3 for the length of our rectangle, can you see it? Well, we now know that x is 2.5. So 2 times 2.5 plus 3. What is 2 times 2.5? That's right, it's 5. And then add 3 and we get 8. So now we know the length is 8. We know that 2.5, if we look at our width, x minus 2, that's the same as 2.5 minus 2. 2.5 minus 2 gives us 0.5. So now we know the width. So our length is 8 centimeters and our width is 0.5 centimeters. What is 8 multiplied by 0.5 centimeters? Well, what is 8 times 1? 8 times 1 is 8. Now, what is 8 times a half? Yeah, it's going to be less than 8. So 8 times 0.5 gives us 4 centimeters. And we need to remember to put squared at the end because we're talking about the area. So our answer is 4 centimeters squared. Well done if you managed to get that. That had so many steps involved, didn't it? And it was really about building on the information that we know. So for every step we say, yep, now we know that. What else do I know? If I know that, what else do I know? And we just kept building on what we know. And that is what's so important with questions like this. And in life, you'll come across so many situations like this where you'll need to know something else in order to be able to progress to the next step. So well done if you managed to get those. So what next? You will see that in this morning's email, you received some two-step equation problem solving, and I'd like you to have a go at working your way through them. So these are a bit more challenging because they're more focused on problem solving as opposed to just the pattern of, you know, what is the value of this letter. It's actually put into different contexts, and I think that's what we need to focus on. So have a go at doing that. If you can't print off the worksheets, then again, just look at them on screen and write them down. And remember to email us your work at yr6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Have a great day and have fun learning. Bye.